find out.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, look at Johnson! Haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's just like trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Everyone to the North America E-Cup Champions Round 1 live from Brands Hatch. I am joined today by Mr. Biggles himself. Say hello, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Of course, it is round 1, and it's in the birthplaces, of course, of motor racing, Brands Hatch. Just an absolutely classic track. Even Formula 1 used to race here back in 1964 for quite some time, I think, right up into the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. But for now, the Porsches will be driving their way around this classic historical track. And we should have, give or take, close to about 40 or so gladiators to enter this arena, my friend, for the first round of the season in the Americas.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful track. And with all that traffic, it might be a little bit of a train today, but we should see some good overtakes. All it takes is one little mistake on exit, and you are going to be in a bad place and exposed to the driver from the rear. We are just going to let you guys hang out and watch some practice real quick. We got about 7 minutes until our first qualifying, and we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. Had a few technical difficulties. Just made sure to get all squared away so we get all the information to you guys. We got about 4 minutes left in practice. So today we are at the round 1 of the Porsche Cup Challenge in the Americas. We are at Brands Hatch from the great United Kingdom over there in Europe. Temperature is 19 degrees C today with an altitude of 131 meters. We have a 3.89 kilometer track, 9 corners on this track, and every single one absolutely treacherous. Need to be aware of turn 9 and turn 5 with very little to no runoff. Making a small mistake and your race could be over.
Yeah, race could be over, my friend, but one of our sponsors, of course, is Blackout, the electrical solutions, and they're actually based, believe it or not, in Brisbane, Australia, where I'm from, my neck of the woods, and they serve southeast Queensland, Australia. Electricians specialize in commercial and industrial renovations, fit-outs, power systems analysis, and switchboard replacements. All the goodies that you need for your businesses, and I said commercial, industrial, whatever. So make sure you hit up the Blackout Electrical Solutions, because they're not going to put you in the blackout, are they? They're going to fix the blackout if you happen to perform it. I love that company name; it's great. And definitely, if you are in southeast southeast Queensland, to check them out for sure. One of our sponsors here for the Porsche Cup Series. Of course, don't forget we have the European Porsche Cup coming up as well on the weekend. We did the Americas here for keeping everybody in this neck of the woods, of course, across the pond. And we'll get an idea of those drivers as soon as they're finishing up their practicing session in about 2 minutes and change. And then we go into our open qualifying session, don't we, Will?
Yeah, open qualifying session here today. How it works is we have a fixed setup series. That means you will not be able to take any fuel out of your car.
So no fuel out of your car, so you just got a full fuel load that you're going to be doing qualifying with. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. You're going to be in the full fuel load, so you're going to see a lot of drivers come out and just kind of take it easy for quite a few laps. It's generally a pretty short lap around this track. We're going to be looking anywhere between 124 to 125s. And their goal is going to be to just try and eat up as much fuel out of the car before taking those crucial couple of flying laps with as little fuel load as possible. Now the trick is to try and delete that fuel out of that car as quick as you can without scrubbing your tires so you can have enough tire for those flying laps. Pole position going to be very important, very hard track to overtake on unless someone runs it a little bit wide and has a bad corner.
So yes, qualifying you mentioned is going to be
Can't park there, sir.
absolutely critical. We got the pro and the AM classes, and once again we're going to have give or take maybe about 35, 36 cars or so. It seems a few people loaded in. So as you said, that track's going to get very, very busy. Relatively short track, and on top of it, you can even see the track map right now that's up there, and you've still got basically half the people in the garage. And look how much of space that you're going to have on track right now when they're already bunched up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be quite difficult on track in order for them to find some space, and even more difficult for people to get out of the way for people on hot laps. That'll be something for the stewards to look for, as one of the cars seems to decide to take a little bit too much of the pit lane there on exit. So here in just a couple minutes, we are going to have the 15-minute open qualifying. Now, they're only going to get 4 flying laps in qualifying in general. Afterwards, we are going to have a 15-minute sprint race around this track. That's not going to be very many laps, so look for a lot of action in that race. And then for a feature race, we're going to have reverse top 8 for the grid, which means whoever takes the most points in the first race is going to have to work their way back up through that field in a safe and effective manner to get top points in the second race. We move.
And the feature race time?
30 minutes for the feature race.
There you go. Just to clarify that to everybody out there, exactly with the reverse top 8.
All right, and here we are gonna start getting into the qualifying session. Looks like we have Xander Reed out of Texas in the number 151 VRS Porsche coming out on track right now, and we're gonna go ahead and see if he can go ahead and put some quality laps down.
I was thinking the same thing. I've got.
I tell you what, as a race driver you are, he's actually just backing up at the moment. As a race driver that you are, Will, I'm not a race driver, everybody's aware, and hello everybody in the chat. I'll be reading that chat as we go along. Would you like to go on board, I guess, with any of those drivers out there, Will, and you as a race driver, give us a hot lap around.
Oh, absolutely. We can go ahead and get that done right now. They're just going to take it real easy. Like I said, just trying to get those tires warm. Those tires do take a couple of laps because it is a short track to actually get the tires warm enough for the hot lap. So the first couple of hot laps, you might be a little bit slow, but they will be getting up to pace here soon enough. So look for those flying laps to really come towards the end of this. I have to do one thing. I apologize. I forgot to turn off the voice chat, so we were hearing the drivers in the game. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so here we go, coming in through turn 9 for Xander Reed right now as we go on board for his first flying lap. Coming into the final corner, we want to brake kind of early, really set up this exit. Your tires can get a little bit of squirrely. You see a little correction there coming out of the front straight. Keeping up that minimum speed and getting on that throttle early is super critical for coming up of this hill. Coming now into turn 1, brake just before the 100-meter board. There is a dip coming across that crest. If you brake a little bit too hard, you will lock the fronts and you won't be able to recover. Run that out wide, brake just before the 50-meter board. Get tight into this kind of long hairpin and get on the throttle fast as possible. Doesn't quite use all the track there because he wants to get over to the right side and set up this next corner to get back onto that throttle, running all the way wide through the track. Now this corner is a little bit deceptive. You want to brake in, get kind of deep, and then turn in hard to the center of the corner. Get on the throttle early to get that power up the hill. Now you have your first small brake inside of here this track. Not the longest one, not a great straight, but you're gonna brake very lightly, coming at about 60 meters, and just trail brake, get the car rotated, and use the throttle to straighten out the car. This is the first corner that you really need to commit to. You want to take more curb than that and run that car wide and almost four-wheel drift the car in order to get yourself some pace coming out of there. Uphill braking here, which gives you a little bit more confidence than you should have. You got to be careful coming into that runoff, because if you do, you're going to fall out. Oh, little release on the throttle. That's going to cost him about a tenth. He's still on a flying lap, though, setting purple sector after purple sector. Setting up that corner. A little bit of correction as he gets on the power there, running it all the way out wide, and he is going to come across the line. This green sector to a 125.306 currently is our fastest time. Anderson below him about 1.4 seconds. Now, as these flying laps come through, you will see people get faster and faster with this track getting a little bit quicker.
Exactly, as you said. So Xander still has Xander Reed, as you can see on the top there, has the fastest lap at the moment. A couple of people are second and change down the road, and I'm really going to have to apologize for some of these names that I will be the biggest butcher of. And is that the driver in P6? Is that D'Souza? Oh, yeah. Please let us know out there in the chat if we are really butchering your name or not. If me, that is me. But,
we're just going to call him Jay. I think that would be a good thing to say. JD is now going to be his name.
There you go. I like that. So I'm going to call you that. So that's the driver currently in P8 at the moment on an outlap. And Xander Reed's going even quicker again, my friend.
Purple sector after purple sector for Xander. He is absolutely flying on these laps. Like I was telling you, those tires do take a few laps to get warm. As those tires warm up, you do get a little bit more confidence. You do have to be careful, though, on turn 1. If you overheat those front tires, it is going to ruin the rest of your lap. Second lap, 1, 2, 4, 4. That is an absolute flyer, and he is moving on right now. Nobody else even close. The closest is Sproul in P2 with a 1 minute 25.5 in the pro class. Here he comes down into the uphill long left-hander trying to get on that throttle. Alexander Wilfert setting a couple of purple sectors there on the bottom, but a couple of yellows, so I'm not exactly if he made a few mistakes, but he seems to be getting on the ball here. So let's go on board with Alexander Wilfert in the number 79 Porsche Cup car and see if he can get a lap in. Ooh, the AM class 126.9. That is pole for the AM class. That is a wonderful flying lap in the Weeaboo Porsche.
Absolutely good, blisteringly quick. As Bruce now Rodriguez has come into P2 in the overall. And there it is out in the chat there. Dikaza. Is it
Dikaza.
JD.
We're going to call him JD, I believe.
So showing up, there's another class as well too. So we got Pro and AM, but the other class isn't showing. Graphics, just a little bit of confusion for everybody out there at the timing tables. Because Xander Reed is the overall quickest.
Xander Reed is currently the overall quickest right here. And if we go down into... It looks like they might be doing split qualifying, which I don't believe they are here.
No, because you've got all drivers from all the different classes that are out currently at the moment, as you can see. It's just a 15-minute qualifying session. And that is, we're getting down to about 11 and change, I believe, out of the 15-minute session. 6 minutes expired.
Absolutely. They are pushing those laps and definitely trying to gain some more position.
Yeah, 8 minutes remaining there qualifying. Top of the timing table there. My stream deck is not working at those remaining times. That does light up with the flags. I'm not sure if anybody has mountain mice out there sometimes. Some of the razor mice and stuff like that will flash according to the track conditions, like track flags, greens and yellows, etc., etc. It's a good way to know. Any predictions out the chat for who will be on pole at the moment? Because it looks like Xander Reed has snatched that one up. But you see Rodriguez got a little bit close. So bring that 1 second gap down to just about half, 4/10. Still, you have to say Xander Reed's really in a league of his own.
Yes, quite a league of his own at the current moment. I actually ran a couple of these races in top split the past 2 days, and let's just say in about 17 laps, I was 40 seconds off of the leader. So these guys have a lot of pace, and personally, I only got to about 125.3, so 124.3, that's a whole second to grab. I'm not exactly sure where that is, especially with this fixed setup, but I gotta maybe watch him, see where to find it.
Yeah, he's also almost a 7K I rating as well, too. 6.7. I know there's a way of showing the strength of field up there, but as you are broadcasting here for the first time tonight in the first race of the league, we won't throw too much at you just yet, my friend, because you already got those perfect pictures up. So is it Porsche or Porsche? That's also been a bit of a debate between people, how you pronounce the word.
I like to get a little frisky with it. Porsche sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
The Porsche. But so Xander looks like he is in the pits now. We have a few cars still on track. Here we are on board with Mothral coming down. Where is he coming down? The front straight. Looks like he is going for another flying lap in the Pabst Blue Ribbon number.
I was going to say the Blue Ribbon. That is the beer of choice for college students and university students.
Oh, and he goes. That's what I.
Goes,
yep. Lock those front brakes, and there is no saving it. Once you get those brakes locked. For those who don't know, the real trick with these cars is going to be that they do not have ABS and they do not have traction control. It is all the driver. You got an engine, you got pedals, you got a steering wheel, you got some aero, and that is about it. The rest is on you.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I would have thought modern motor vehicles would have at least traction control and that ABS, but no. That makes it even more difficult, as you mentioned. Unbelievable. We're still seeing a lot of drivers that have yet to set times. That's about 10 or so of them. Is that because of the off-track limits? Now, how difficult are those off-track excursions around here to invalidate all that?
you're not looking at a lot of invalidations with this track, mainly because if you go off track, you're going all the way off track most of the time. If you get an invalidation, what normally is going to happen is you maybe cut turn 5 or turn 6 just a little too much, but getting turned in just to the right amount to even get that off track is normally a bit easy. If we take a look at a previous off track here, you will see that he is gonna come through at this corner. This is a common one. He probably just ran it a little bit too deep, and there he goes. There's not much room for error. If you go off track, you are going to be completely off of the track.
That makes perfect sense then, for sure. Punishing Brands Hatch. There was a story, well, we're still in this qualifying session. Check out Mikey at the moment, the number 69 machine. He's got a purple sector. Mikey Howanick.
Mikey Howanick right here, down here in the number 69 Porsche car, and we will see how he is doing. He is coming down through turn 9 right now, coming into the final straight. And let's see, he's got 2 purple sectors. Can he make any moves? And yes, all the way up into P3 with a 124.9, drifting around that final corner, really running it all the way to the edge. It looks like he is going to try and really lay some laps down here again. Here he comes around the hairpin, maybe a little wide on the release. You really want to get that car straightened out. Oh, just touches the grass, but he holds on to it. Let's see if he can set these sectors again.
He's
Really?
absolutely pushing it, knowing, hey, you know, now within a half a second reach there of the insane time that Alexander Reed set, and he's throwing this Porsche around every possible corner in this track to gain as much possible time, to shave the possible time.
He is
But is it going to be just fighting it too much, do you think? Or, you know, it's good to see it.
He is
really
absolutely on the limit. That is actually one of the AM drivers, and he is currently P1 in the AM class.
Absolutely. You can see that on, I think he's at, oh, there's Wilford actually, I believe.
Yep, we're still on the board with Howanick.
We're in Howanick. Yep, there's the pro class you mentioned, of course. Yes, here it is. So traffic gets out of the way, shouldn't compromise his entry and exit speed. Any couple corner or this final corner right now, let's see. Doesn't look like an improvement anyway, too much, because you can see there just a final little mini improvement on that final sector, but not quite enough considering how well he's done.
Whoa, and there he goes, very wide, and he is going, oh no!
Defense. That's 1 flip, that's 2 flip. We'll see who gets the flip awards later on.
Good
as well.
lord.
Hopefully not too many.
Oh, so Mikey Howanick really tries to push the limit there on that last corner and just doesn't quite make it. If we actually go on board and see exactly how that went real quick for a minute, just does not hit the apex, and he is 100% committed to it on the throttle, trying to get back, and that is a reenactment of Max Verstappen's crash a couple years ago, what I would say.
That's true.
We are back live now, and it seems like our qualifying might be complete.
I think there's only a couple of drivers out there. Maybe Gary, maybe Michael Bias, I think, and Jeffrey Seabock.
Yeah, just a few cars on track right now, running a few laps.
They haven't set a lap at the moment either. That's the thing. You can see on your track map that there's no number associated with them. That's because they haven't actually set a counted lap time. So this could be a very well first one here from Michael. It's first and last lap, unless he gets time to get another one in. So he does get that, pulls himself up in the P24. So I always say a lap time is better than no lap time. No, regardless of if it's quite the lap time you wanted. Then again, he's a 5K I rating, so
Yeah,
he's up against the top guns, of course, doing 7K high ratings. So
yes, pushing the lap times. He's getting there. He's trying to get he's just trying to get those lap times in, you know. So if we take a look at his best lap time with a 1:2.71, you know, he's up there. He's doing his best. and he's not off track, which is the biggest key. He's setting yellows right now, so it seems like he might have gotten off on the wrong foot on this lap. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Do not believe he will be getting this lap in, and no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's get the practice in there, of course, for the Canadian driver, and that's all you needed to get done. And there you
absolutely.
go. So those results up there in a second for everybody to look over there.
So here are... Oh. And here we go. Here are our qualifications.
Let's see if we can get the overall, because it looks like everything else is... There you go. Right on cue.
Absolutely. All right, so in P1, we got Xander Reed. P2, Rodriguez, 0.3 off the lead. Michael McLeod here with half a second off. And then you have a real tight field coming from P4 to P11 with Charlie, Colby, Dylan, Adam, and Ariel down into P8. Troy and Tyler down in that fifth row. In our sixth row, we got Mark Lampert and Michael Carrillo.
Just sorry about that. Breaking up a little bit. Go ahead. They should be gridding up in a second here to start our first of the 15-minute sprint race. And we're going to have 37 cars around Brands Hatch for round one.
Absolutely.
Are you excited about this one, my friend? Because I certainly am. And let us know in the chat if you are hyped about this one. The slate is clean, all right? The blackboard is blank, and now they're going to get ready to go rolling their way around. Round one, here we go.
Couple guys spinning off the start, and we'll see what happens. Is Xander Reed does get a great exit over here, but we got some action coming in down the backside. Everyone sliding through that first corner, trying to keep it clean, and Xander is here coming around. A couple of overtakes here. We got Wilford all the way back down in P3, just a little off of Howanick right now in the first 15-minute sprint race. And going a little bit wide, but they keep it clean, and there's a collision down in the back. That's definitely going to hold up the field.
Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3 cars. I think they're at least involved in that one, but
Absolutely.
so far so good, you'd have to say, through the first half, at least half of the track. With only a couple of positions gained and lost. But yeah, that collision at the back does cost some of those drivers there. I think there are Michael and Jeremy, and Jonathan may be involved in that one as well as Hayden. Get those pictures back for the replay in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to let them battle this out in lap one. Sproul right now is on the back of Howanick. Followed 4 seconds off by there. So let's go ahead and move up to Howanick over here. And there he is, Sproul behind Howanick, pushing and trying to see if he can get some moves done early on. But like I said, you really have to wait for someone to make a mistake in order for that move to be made. Coming down to this turn, they both make the apex and get that car rotated very well. Well, we will see if he can continue to keep the pace here moving forward. Xander Reed pulling away from the lead pack just a little bit. 3/10, a tight field. And Howanick behind Rodriguez. And look at those gaps. Not a full second. Are we watching F1 Esports here? Because it certainly feels like it.
Yeah, we're watching it, but we're watching Porsche Esports Series for the first round here for the Porsche Cup. This is the Americas, and I guarantee you the Europeans that will be doing the same thing on the weekend will be studying these races to see how it's going to pan out for them and see how it pans out, obviously, for the amount of driving. And so far, I'd have to say that the driving has been absolutely fantastic. Everybody's quite cleanly through. You don't see too many people even off into the, as you said, exploring those track limits aren't something you want to do here too much. Otherwise, you'll be exploring the fence, as we saw earlier. McLeod's actually putting a bit of pressure there on Sproul for the battle for P4.
Just a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at McLeod here. And it looks like Howanick runs a little bit wide. that's going to open up the opportunity for Sproul and McLeod to kind of push up. And McLeod is coming down into that first corner, but just you really need to be on the bumper in order to be able to make any sort of moves coming into those corners.
And he's got his teammate behind him. You can see at least in the same livery. So he's got to wear it. That he's got to get. Let's see, team orders at play. But it's got to be on the back of the blackout machine. One of our sponsors, no doubt, right there. Oh, but Sproul.
All right.
The OT done, mate. That's
Let's
the thing, isn't it?
Let's take a quick look at what happened, by the way, in turn number 3. Go into the chopper view. Let's just see the chaos that happened on that first corner. Here we go. We see Kreese Gengaro in the 191 car from New Jersey comes down, gets some good braking going, and it just an absolute mess up there. It looks like they just all got a little bit wonky, and unfortunately that is going to cost them the race. We are back on board with Michael McLeod, still trying to put that pressure on, but it looks like they're all just kind of fanning out right now.
Yeah, and good driving, you'd have to say, from the sportsmanship for those drivers earlier that had the moment. Because did you notice that when they did have spins, they stood stationary, which is, you're supposed to do that in a motor racing, as Halnick goes a little bit quicker. It's just the fastest lap of the race, but still a half-second down the road. But saying that, the driver's not moving around, waiting for everybody to pass on there. Unfortunately, of course, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you get a T-bone like we just saw. But aside from that, it was just a clever play. You want to make sure that, hey, if mistakes are made, but you don't want to be forcing any of the other drivers out of the race doing mistakes.
Absolutely. You want to definitely keep pace here. So it's,
now you're wondering, yeah, go ahead.
So it is really about just staying there and making sure to see if someone makes a mistake. Putting that pressure on, like Schmidt's doing on Vanderbeek right now. He's just keeping close, staying in those mirrors, making him push just a little bit farther. If you just gain a single tenth through a corner, that guy ahead might want to try and do the same for the next corner and could cause them to make those mistakes. You see how close they're running to the grass right there, running it all the way out wide, and it looks like Schmidt's going to try and push into this corner. You see right there, he pulls another tenth, 2 tenths. He might be taking the overtake, and that's that pressure I was talking about. Vanderbeek goes out to the right, loses a bit of grip, and that is the overtake from Schmidt. It's not about completing the overtake in these Porsche Cup cars. It's about staying mistake-free and putting the pressure on that lead car. Vanderbeek is going to come back around on him, but he's going to stay. You don't want to try and pass on the inside of that turn 1. If you lock up, you're taking both guys out. The risk for reward is just not there. We have Warren here, and then Adam Morrow just getting an overtake there on the front straight also. And we also had another...
Oh, that's turning in.
Oh, no,
that's
and there he is.
I saw that one.
Oh, no, and
the
that...
gas 568 machine, you can see that of Adam. It just looked like it from that angle. You could just see his turn. I wasn't quite sure if he was aware that the car behind him was actually going to send one up on the inside there, and he turned in, of course, and that's just a Tango. There's a slow car they're going past just up the road there, too, so did somebody else have an off?
There's got to be some accidents going on. There was a few accidents here. So let's just get a quick replay of that. So Adam Morrow coming down here, and as he comes down, turns in.
There it is, yeah.
And he just overtakes him. So here is the actual
see the car on the grass as well too that was out before.
Absolutely. There are accidents everywhere. So here we are. There it is. He just turns in on him. He just sticks his nose.
Do you think it's because Michael went too deep into that corner? That's just what it looked a little bit interesting like. Whether it looked like he locked a brake, and that's a racing incident, you'd have to say.
I would say it was a bit of an indecisive move. He didn't know.
Off the track there.
There are so many incidents right now. There are crashes. My screen is filled with red. Hayden Busch and Dan Moore had a crash just a lap ago. Dan Moore crashed again, so he is not having a good time right now. If we go ahead on board Dan Moore, it looks like he ran that a little bit wide, tries to come back into the track, and there he goes.
Cut those trees down, we can't see.
And then he just spins again. So here we are back live with me. Oh.
That's a Costa Rican driver as well too, which is fantastic to see because I like to see drivers that are close to where I am in my neck of the woods at the moment, which is Panama. I haven't seen too many Costa Rican drivers, so we can
Absolutely
support him through the series as you got more of those action to go on.
So at the current moment,
overtake I'll say before, my friend, was like that Schmidt, of course. I was wondering if it was a fantastic overtake. You're seeing one right now. Here is the Costa Rican driver of
wonderful overtake by Carrillo. So the thing is, as a lead driver, you need to be decisive. If you're going to take that line, you need to take that line immediately. You cannot leave that door open. If you leave that door open, someone might decide to stick their nose in it, and that's just what happened. At that point, you just need to play a bit more cautious, as Lambert is getting a bit closer to Sean Mulholland right now. And he is putting that...
It looks like a...
He is...
Oh, I'm just trying to think here. Go ahead.
Absolutely putting the pressure on him right now.
It makes it stick too. If he can hold it. Yeah, trust in the non-ABS braking.
Oh,
system,
absolutely.
And that's job done. Yeah.
And there he goes. And what a move by Lambert to move up. As you can see, this middle pack running about in the 126s. We do have 5 minutes, a little under 6 minutes to go. We are on lap 7. And those...
Look at P16 up the road. He's actually putting a bit of pressure there on Weke.
Here he is. Wyckoff? Yeah, putting a little bit of pressure here on Wyckoff, and this is where you see those overtakes, as I was saying earlier. They just get behind, sit back, and just wait for a mistake to happen. And once that mistake happens, that's when they're going to try and push. That's when they're going to try and take the overtake. We're going to the onboard view here. You see he's just trying to get that car rotated so he can get on the throttle and straighten it back out. And you can see how important those exits are. Loses 2/10, goes in deep into the corner. And look how much time, a half a second almost, he pulled just by taking a little bit more of that inside curb. And right here, he's going to do the same, another 10th. And he is going to try and bring it down, get on the throttle early, get uphill, run it out a little bit wide, and he might try and make the move here. And we will see. Here he comes, screaming down and going to try and slide back into the back straight. This is the fight for P15 right now, but he's a little bit far away. The slipstream not as powerful on this track.
And yeah, it's a car that went off. So I think I visited pit road.
Yep.
Right, before that action, look at this.
Here we go.
They gained a position.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people, I'm guessing, they just gone off track and are just not having a good time. If we go back on to Xander Reed here, a 2-second gap on Howanick right now, just absolutely roasting the competition.
And
he
Warren
is having...
and P7 and P8, look how close they are at the moment. If you go to Julian and Warren, there's Warren to get the overtake done. I think they should be side by side. Perfect on cue. There's Colby. And did Warren get the overtake? I think he did. He's trying to make his way back up after losing one place. And you have to give it to Alexandra in P9 because he's gained 4 positions in this race. And he's trying to hold on to the AM class because he's the leader in the AM class at the moment too. Oh! And that's Warren. What happened to Warren? He locked a break up, and that's actually collected a few cars here.
Oh, no!
Massive smash.
And he is just gonna... Oh, no. Okay, here we go. It's upside down. And there he goes. And we can go ahead and take a look and see what happened to Warren here. And here it is. Here's the grass. He just comes out too wide, and the grass right there. He's pushing the limits, as I said, if you go even just a little off track, and he ends up collecting another car.
I think it is.
I believe that was Adam Schmidt.
Yeah.
Oh, super unfortunate for Adam Schmidt, who is just minding his own business. And as you can see, Kobe Warren in that 201 Porsche is somehow still alive here.
Just like that, it could just turn like, because remember, Watford was the leader there at the AM class at one point, still showing him as leader of the AM class, but not anymore. I think the classes, we need to kind of update that one. It's not really accurately showing all the correct cars. We could definitely get that one sorted out for the next round of the series.
Absolutely. Then we have Vanderick over here, and he is currently, looks like he's working up an overtake down here in P14. Coming down that back straight here, sliding into the long right-hander, seeing if he can get a good right-hand exit. And another crash by Chris Gengaro We would love to show you guys all of the chaos, but there has been so much we wouldn't even be watching a race at this point.
It'd be a wreck fest. Well, of course, the drivers aren't driving a wreck fest. It's just a tricky track, as you mentioned. Yeah,
It's all about patience.
A little bit, and yeah, just a little bit too deep in the corner, and bang, you're going around, of course, and that's just how Brands Hatch brands you. You don't get it right.
Absolutely. It is all about just keeping it clean and staying on the track. And Van Der Eck does have a move here, and he is going to take it all the way up the inside. And it doesn't seem like Wyckoff fought that too hard. I think he's just like, all right, I'm going to let you by. And then we're going to do the same dance the next lap.
That's what it's usually be like a barn dance or some sort of folk dance or something like that. I'm not quite sure what's dancing in the background. Also, there's a bit of dancing going on. As you can just see on the tiny tower. Not too much at the top end, business end.
And
To show
Lampert,
you at the moment. Here it is, yeah.
Lampert with an overtake on Morrow right here. Looks like Morrow has a little bit of damage on that front end, but Lampert gets all the way up on that curb, and that's going to bring in Morrow again. This is going to be a risky business coming into this, and he thinks better of it and just lets him have that.
It's because of the damage, I think, for the gas machine. He's like, yeah, I'm hitting the gas, guys. I'm hitting it twice, but it ain't doing anything because of that little bit of, as I said, you can see the car's scruffed up in them. It needs a little bit of a car wash. They'll have an opportunity to do that with the feature race coming up soon.
Absolutely.
It might affect them because it is a reverse top 8, but how that will pan out. I was just wondering before, this is what I wanted to talk about. If you are battling currently at the moment for P8, would you want to really battle it that much, or would you be happy to stay? I mean, if you're in P8, would you be happy to go to P7 or stay? I'd stay in P8 because it's going to give you the pole for the next feature race.
Well, it's all based off point, so it depends on if you feel like if you have the pace to hold on to that feature race, and you're going to want to keep that P8 position. But if you feel like you have a solid, obviously being in the front is going to be better, but you also don't want to lose time by being constantly overtaken by faster cars. So it could be a bit of a strategic choice here by Fenelon to see if he just hangs back and holds on for that position. It doesn't look like he's kind of close to
damage, but look at the car at the road there. Julian's car, I think that is damaged. Yeah. So
little damage.
Yeah.
I think Fenelon is probably happy to just sit back here. He has no pressure from behind. So getting that pole position, I think he's just happy to sit back and take that pole position, to be honest.
I think you're right, because the clock's kind of running down, so Mr. Reed should be crossing that line soon.
Absolutely.
Unless there's an overtake, yeah, but I don't
and
think so.
Here is Reed across the line right now, P1 by a massive margin. Howanick coming in P2 and P3 overall for Sproul, and there comes McLeod swinging in P4, and then we have Fenelon going to be coming down the back straight. Nah, he is not too worried about passing Julian. That is for sure. Look at him just hanging out. He is very happy. He just got pole position. But with those lap time differences, you see those lap times between the top and the bottom. I don't think it's going to be too long before these guys are starting to get pushed out a little bit.
Yeah, you're talking about those lap times. That last lap there that Mr. Reed, who just won the race, their set was 125. Those guys, if we just saw that, will be starting on pole, will be doing 126, so they'll be about a second a lap slower based on the pace of this feature race, sprint race.
Absolutely.
So there you go. We did the math on that one.
So if we look at our results here, that is not all the cars have come across yet, so I cannot pull up the results yet for you, but we will see as soon as all of those cars finally pass the finish line.
And exactly, there's qualifying results that you're showing at the moment, but the race results will come up here, and in a second, still on the qualifying results, switch one over to the race results. All right, we got to cast it down. We got to cast it, and you'll be okay, mate. There it is, Heat 1 results, right up on the screen. You like to go through those names because I will butcher them.
All right, first off, we have Xander Reed, our overall winner, 2.8 seconds, doing his best Sebastian Job impression at that 151 car. Mikey Howanick here, 2.8 seconds back. And then Samuel Sproul, 4.4 seconds back. Michael McLeod in P4. Bryce Rodriguez rounding up in P5. Then you have Charlie, Ariel, and Troy rounding out your reverse grid, which means P8 will start P1 and Xander will start P8. For the rest of the field, you have Rob, Colby, Michael, Dylan, Adam, and Michael Carrillo way back a little bit. So there is a massive pace difference there for sure between even Pro and the AM classes.
That's right. We still have some other drivers to go through the rest of them. I'm not sure once again about this Pro and AM class, and not even. I don't think it looks like it's scheduled. Every single one of the cars have actually listed themselves in that one. So once again, we will sort that one out coming.
Yes.
Race. This is our dress rehearsal, of course. It's the first race of the season. You tend to go through these little technical things. We'll definitely get it sorted. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
So we apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for not being able to showcase the overlays on who is actually in the Pro Am right now. I believe that is going to be an iRacing setting, but we'll have to get that sorted out next time so that way we can give you accurate measurements of who is actually in first and in which group. So we apologize for that technical difficulty, and we'll definitely get that sorted out last time. So please ignore the Pro and the Am, Howanick and Wilford. At the current moment, Reed is a Pro driver and has won, and the AM driver in the lead we do not know at the current moment, and we apologize for that.
Yeah, you could probably turn that one off at the top there, of course, because you know what's happened? We've had a blackout, and we need the blackout electrical solutions to save us at the moment. And they were to get the crew in there. The only problem is at the moment they only service northeast Queensland, my friend, so they got a little bit further to go here. But as you can see, most of the drivers on the grid are from the United States. We do have an Australian driver there. As I said, we do have a Costa Rican driver in there. It's close, and I know that at the moment, if he's in a blackout, well, he's going to need some lighting. Well, most of the drivers are going to need some lighting because it's about almost, depending on, definitely nighttime here in the United States of America and the Americas, the whole continent. From north to south, you've got the Canadians drivers in here as well. They're going to be gridding up, my friend, for that feature race you mentioned with that reverse grid. So it's now Troy from New England, the 48 machine, that'll be looking to get that pole position. As you saw there before, he was battling it out there with Julian behind. He elected to say, you know what, mate, I think I'm a little bit more confident going into turn one. The only thing he needs to worry about is his mirrors, is if anybody else is going to lock up or not. Here we go. Get ready.
Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and here we go. And here we go with the start. No one's spinning up the tires too bad. They all get pretty settled on the start here. And Fenelon looks like he is pretty clean through turn one. Got a pretty good gap. Might be kind of safe. He decides to take a defensive line instead of running out wide and risking being overtaken on the inside. Xander Reed back there, our winner of the last race, just kind of hanging out, I think, and just waiting to see if anything crazy is going to happen. I think he's got the pace, and I don't know.
Keep an eye on Samuel at the moment too, gaining position off there. That's the 66 machine running in P5. I think he was looking for an overtake there, just off the corner of your pictures. And Sproul with a fantastic launch.
Yeah, Sproul currently up one position right now on McLeod, along with Rodriguez, making some moves early on. Like I said, I feel Sproul with another overtake in the blackout
That's
Porsche.
Number 2. Exactly. That's the Australian driver, my friend, and you don't mess with the Aussies. On a rampage right now, but he's under attack, of course, there from, looks like Charlie, and Michael is a little bit further. There's an overtake, I think, there as Mikey. Hownick has lost a couple of places, unfortunately, on P9, and there's somebody off into the grass there. I'm not quite sure. That was Carl Ribbing.
Yep, Carl Ribbing down there off on track. Seemed to save it, didn't quite get into the wall. So Sproul, looks like his goal at the current moment is just to get to first as quickly as possible. He knows he doesn't have the same pace as Reed, so if he can put a couple of cars in between him and Reed, that gives him an opportunity to win this race.
Well, he's got the blackout sponsors, of course, on the side of the car, so he's got the support that he needs. He knows one thing, I guarantee you, my friend, that there's no electrical problems in that machine.
Absolutely not.
They all think so. And he's managed to get her. Who's sliding up the
Rodriguez.
That's going to be a pile-up. Oh, no.
Yep, that is Rodriguez there, and not having a good time. And here we go on board with Adam Moreau, who is currently up 6 positions. Our big winner right now is Dylan Vanderbeck, who is up 7 positions from the start of the race.
Yeah, because the obviously that collision has caused a couple more, and we'll go tick those boxes and say thank you very much.
And Xander Reed, our winner from the first race, is off the track. He made a big mistake, yes. And Xander Reed is try and find a replay for you, ladies and gentlemen. I see him.
He's down at P24, so there's something. I think that might have been a concertina effect from that accident that happened just before.
And here we are.
I think he's come into the side of the car. That's what's probably happened, mate. Yeah, look.
And here he is. But where is?
It was the car that went off earlier, and I think he unfortunately was in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you go back a little bit earlier in that one, I think that's exactly what it was.
And here we go. We got the replay here for Xander Reed running in P7, doing just fine. Yeah, that car comes off track, and he just comes straight back on track and slams on his brakes and just ruins our leader's race. I think the stewards are going to have something to say about that one for sure. Not only did he break Xander Reed's car, he almost broke the game. Felon still.
But then again, you're spinning the car. You saw that. He just went wide. The car's like trying to stop it, and it looked like a racing incident at the end of the day. I'm not quite. It wasn't intentional, no doubt, but that one. The guy's just trying to keep the car on the track, isn't he? And then everybody's bunched up. It tends to happen, but the stewards will definitely have to look at that one.
I think the stewards.
All Reed right now has to do, my friend, is put his head down and try to make his way back up, which he certainly has the pace.
With that, it all depends on the damage that he has and what's going on with his car. Right now, Xander Reed is quite down low. He's already back down to P29 all by himself there, as you can see, and 3 seconds off the pace. He definitely does not have. Something is definitely maybe a little bit wrong with that car. So we'll find out. If we go up to Ariel and Fenelon in the leading pack here, we have a pretty close race. Sproul with a 125.84 last lap, and he is working his way to the front of that field.
That's not a place to overtake there, but he set a dummy. He just wants to remind Julian that, hey, I'm here, and I'm blisteringly quick so far at the moment, 3 positions gained. I think Julian's just got to put his head down and just defend as much as possible. This is going to help Troy Feldman, isn't it? Just kind of get up the road a little bit there and just let them battle it out and try to maintain that gap. But because you know that if Samuel can overtake Dunson and Julian, that he's next on his hit list.
Well, if they start fighting, then Fenelon could take a little bit away out of the race. But right now, I think Sproul knows he has a pace, and I think he's happy to sit back. There's 24 minutes left in this race, more than enough time to overtake. So I think he might just be happy to hang back, see what happens, wait for these maybe a little bit less experienced guys to make a mistake.
And look at the track map. That's punched up, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And soon, at some point, this is what we were talking about earlier, isn't it? We didn't see it in the sprint race because there's not enough time. But time is now. You'll have enough of it, 24 minutes. It would be surprising to start catching some of those back markers in the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. But now, all they have to worry about is the cars that are up the road from them.
And look at him coming down.
Helicopter camera angle right there.
Such a massive corner, and this does not do that downhill justice whatsoever. And as you can see, he is really just trying to put a little bit of pressure on. Not really necessarily trying to overtake yet. Just trying to keep. And there he is. There's the mistake we were talking about. There's the mistake. And he's going to get the inside of the corner, and that is move done. Will not recover from that. And that's that mistake that we were talking about. All it takes is one little hiccup, and you are going to, you're just not going to recover, unfortunately. And that's just is what it is. And we had a crash from Michael Bias here down the road. Let's see what happened to Michael Bias. Coming in through the corner, I'm willing to bet he just locks these front brakes, just goes in a little deep is what I'm feeling like. Yep, brakes way too deep. And that is it for him. And then there is the spin. You ride that super fine line of just staying clean. And what is he doing here? Does he get back on track?
Get back on the track.
Does he get back on track?
Yeah, no.
Okay, no,
good to go.
No accidents. As we can tell. So
hey, that's great to have you there, Will, as a racing driver fully experienced, mate, because I would have no idea about him locking the front brakes. You could see it wasn't the rear, but it was the front, and that's very good for you to pull it up there offshore racing experience.
Well,
Once again, I would have had no idea. Oh, that's sometimes a little bit scary going a little bit wide out there. You know that the sand gravel trap is going to be very punishing. He's going to put some pressure right now. I think that's what forced, wasn't it, Julian, to that mistake? It's the fact that he's looking in his mirrors, maybe. You say never mirror a drive, but he knows at this point. And this is an opportunity, of course, for Samuel really to seize the 4 positions gained, knowing now that Mr. Reed, Xander Reed, is down in 22nd place. So, yeah, build up championship points early in the season.
Yeah, this has really worked out from Fenelon in a big way right here. Getting those points out of P8 and, looking at maybe, I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to this position for very long. I would say realistically, Fenelon is looking at a P2, and in my personal opinion, if I'm Sproul, I'm hoping that he makes a mistake, but I'm not trying to keep at Sproul's pace because that's just that's going to be just a bunch of accidents. I might let him go. If I'm Fenelon, I'm letting Sproul go. I'm hooking up behind and seeing what he does.
He's doing it. He's let him through. Yeah, because just to let everybody know on the timing there, it's a second a lap quicker. We were talking about that, weren't we, for some of the other drivers in the previous race? They're a second a lap quicker. If you're not matching their times, at this point, well, how much of fighting are you going to put up? Maybe just for your teams later on, but for now, smart play is just to hang in there and, you win championships on points overall. You don't win championships necessarily by winning races. So, hey, you can nip as many points as you can.
Absolutely.
In the top 10 all season long, you can win a driver's championship, no problem.
Yeah, you don't need to be P1 to win the races. You can ask Xander Reed about that. He has gone from a favorite to now potentially being in a quite heavy deficit in the championship standings. You have Sproul now, at least you can see all those lap times out there, 125.8 compared to Fenelon's 126.8, and Sproul was behind him when he set that lap time. So now we're looking at McLeod here at P4. And he is looking to do the same as Sproul, see if he can slide up into those positions. 20 minutes left. We are third of the way through this race right now, and we have Edward down in P12 looking to make some moves and move up in his own right.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, he's battling with Tyler on the road. He's gained 18 positions, and Charles Edward that we're watching too, he's gained 10. So a smile on the faces of both of those drivers for sure, going, hey, we're almost in the top 10. Plenty of time on our side, and we gained a lot of places in a very busy track. So, yep, that's a good sign.
My guess would be that they might have been in those incidents, those last few races here. Maybe the last race they just had unlucky, gotten in an incident, and that's not ideal.
On top of this, the one good thing, it looks like Rodriguez as well too. They're back at the battle for P21, P22 is also heated up as well behind Benjamin Harris, and it's Benjamin Harris leading this battle. So even though they're further down, they're still looking for crucial points in the championship. And one thing I want to say, the beauty of at least race one, if mistakes are made, well, you've got the rest of the season to do something about it. The last thing you ever want when you're biting in a championship close with points at the end of the season is to make mistakes or be involved in accidents that late. So for right now, all you have to say, okay, race one's all right.
Oh, and there he goes for a move. He sticks that nose in just far enough, and that's the beauty of it. It's going to cost him 2 positions. You compromise that line when you're that close, you are going to slide down the order. Rodriguez going through, and Harris dropping 2 positions, unfortunately, in that battle.
Do something about the silver livery on that car shining in my eyes at the moment. I'm getting blinded. I have to wear some sunglasses here watching this race. Hope everybody's enjoying themselves. I know chat's got a little bit quiet, but I think it's probably because half the drivers are actually having a listen. And if you are having a listen, g'day. I'm sure you're going to be entertained to watch this one back later on.
And here we are with Xander Reed, and he's making up some places. He's just all the way back down into P29 there for a little while, and back up to P19. I don't believe that he is going to be able to
look, go straight through.
Yep.
The driver left him through. Watson did.
Yep, they know the pace. So earlier in the race, we had a crash from Matthew Wyckoff, and let's see what happened. Oh wow, look at that right there. So that was a big accident in the beginning of the race. Actually seems to have started quite early on. And this is what happened to a few of the drivers in the beginning. It looks like just gets turned in there, and it just collects. And that is unfortunate for the drivers involved in that. So back with Xander Reed here, 7 seconds on from the next guy, but we got Lampert in P21 trying to come back and make a move on Rodriguez. Rodriguez is just falling down the order right now. Lampert now past Rodriguez. Rodriguez back down to P21.
He lost 11 places, unfortunately, for Rob Rodriguez Jr. And maybe he was involved in some of those early incidents there and could have some sort of damage on the car. You can't necessarily see it. Sometimes the cars look fine, but as you know, tap of the steering wheel, throwing it out at an angle or something like that, and then it's a lot more difficult for the cars to drive, as you mentioned earlier, at the moment without any assists. Now you've got to do it even harder. I think he's going to be happy just to see Barney in the checkered flag later on for sure, and just think about next races coming up in the season.
Absolutely. So we will see what these guys can do, what they learn from it. You know, see who they can pass. A lot of these drivers may or may not have ever raced together before, so it's also a learning curve in trying to figure out exactly who you can pass and how, right? You know, that's going to be critical in figuring out exactly how you want to race, right?
You don't want to see what Drew might have just done. Drew's lost a place, I believe, there too. Drew Stanley's dropped another place too, so now it's P17.
All right, Drew.
So there must have been a moment there.
Oh, Drew Stanley had a little bit of an accident right here, so let's see what happened to Drew Stanley. On board with him coming into the corner. Everything seems pretty normal until he gets on the throttle, and that is that lack of traction control that I was talking about. You get on that throttle a little bit too soon and just getting a little wobbly there. Not too bad.
Too much on a loud pedal. Yeah, too loud on a loud pedal, my friend. There you can see that. But once again, there's no ABS or traction control, so you got to get that throttle just balanced perfectly, and he's going to be well aware of that. But the good thing about it is still in this race, he's still got 8 positions gained, running in P17. So he's not moving backwards; he's moving forwards.
Yeah, still moving
a couple less.
Still moving forwards, so that's not a problem at all. And if you look at Xander Reed all the way back up into P16, only 29 seconds off the lead, 15 minutes remaining. He could still be looking at a top 10 here if he plays his cards right.
I wouldn't be surprised because he knows how to get your head down. This is one good thing about an incident on lap 1, essentially at the start of a race, is that you realize you've got all the time in the world to try to do something about it. He's clearly got the pace. Look at this. He's all over the back of the 651 machine. 651 machine is not even going to, I don't think, put up too much of a fight.
Yeah, Xander Reed is going to take it easy, though. He's not going to get too aggressive, but I think everyone sort of knows their place. It doesn't look like he's fighting too hard, but he also isn't just going to give it up all willy-nilly. I think he's going to actually fight for it a little bit, but not super hard. So fight in the top 10 for P7 and P8 here with Michael Carrillo on Vanderbeek. He's getting into that passing range for this final corner. If he can get a good exit here, he can see what he can do, but he doesn't. That's that exit I'm talking about. If you do not get that exit, you will not get the slipstream. It will not be a benefit down. So he's going to have to essentially wait for a mistake to try and make up some time.
Well, that's considering some of the mistakes that have been made already. That's not a bad probability to be gambling on. All you have to be doing is just applying that pressure there. So the Costa Rican driver at the moment doing his absolute best. Look at the track map, how it's starting to really spread out as well. The leaders aren't going to be catching in the back markers. You can see on the track map at the moment, 25 machine is place machine is just going off track too. That's why the red dot there. So the 25 machines had a little bit of moment, but they're all alone. This battle at the moment is brewing. You can see for the battle for P5.
Oh, yes, then they are together for sure. And McLeod is starting to work his way up to that P2 at the current moment. If you see him, and here he is trying to slide down the inside. Charlie Perez protecting that position like it's for his life right now. 2/10, and Howanick is fighting.
And it tells like Troy, isn't it? Like Troy Feldman's pretty happy to sit there in that P2. You got Michael, of course, in the P3 position, and this battle at the moment is all behind Adrian Julian. So it's Charlie up the road there, of course, and we're looking at Mikey Halnick, the 69 machine. Once again applying that pressure, he knows at the moment he's going to have to do something because he's got Dylan Vanderbeek just behind there, and the Costa Rican driver of Michael Corello.
Outbreaks himself, and there is Halnick, and that is going to be a painful one.
No, I had to say it. I had to say it. Sorry.
Oh, had to say it. Thankfully, there is not much traffic behind for him to get back on track, but that is not going to be easy for him to go ahead. All right, so here we are with Michael McLeod, and still just kind of hanging out right now. 12 minutes left in this race. Almost 2/3 through. I think he's still just going to kind of relax. Just wait for Fenelon to make a mistake. I think Fenelon might feel a bit comfortable in this situation.
Yeah, but I don't think Troy wants to yield it. Remember, Troy was leading this race. He started on that pole position. He had to yield one before with Mr. Samuel Sproul. He's aware of that one, but I don't think he'd want to give up this P2 position at all. Because he's now, believe it or not, you have to say Troy Fenelon's doing good. He's now lapping in the 25s. So he's on the pace. Problem is, of course, he's got a mirror full of Michael, and that's all about what he can do to hold him off. And he knows, hey, 11 minutes. He's just hoping for that clock to tick down as quickly as possible so he can keep this P2. And of course, Michael wants it badly, and it's like a predator and the prey, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Fenelon and McLeod right now are just going at it, and it looks like T. Anderson down there is going to be making a move on a ribbing here soon, but we do not want to pull off this McLeod battle right now. We're waiting for a mistake, and Anderson does get past ribbing. We'll go ahead and get a replay of that here in just a moment. But 410s, he just isn't getting the same exits right now. And
and apologies out there in the chat. It's not McLeod, it's McLeod. It's just because I have a buddy called McLeod, and every time I see that, it's McLeod. You got obviously, McLeod's got it perfectly. But this one, you said?
And yeah, this is Tyler Anderson getting past a beautiful move right there on that waste management Porsche. Just making it look easy.
Off in defense in the background.
Oh, good Lord. Carl Ribbing looks like he just got on that throttle a bit too early, unfortunately, and then tries to do a flip, but just doesn't quite. So that's Xander Reed, by the way, all the way up in a P12 already. Could be looking for a P10 finish. Man, that's got to feel good for Xander Reed if he can do it. There's another position for him right there. McLeod, right now, is actually falling back a little bit, but Carrillo in P7 looking to make some more moves here.
Yeah, eight positions gained as well. He's battling at Dylan. He's gained 7 positions, and just behind them is Adam Morrow that's gained 6. But you have to give it Tyler Anderson that's behind them, currently running a P9, a little bit lonely, very lonely. 20 positions gained, so Tyler's just happy to sit there and have no problems. He's not going to have a threat, of course, from Xander Reed, who's going to be really working like mad to try to get that P10 position, as you know, from our sprint race winner.
Absolutely, in the last lap for them right there for Xander Reed is a 1:25.78. Last lap for Mikey Halnick, a 1:2.77. So Xander Reed about 2 seconds a lap faster. It's realistic. He could get to that P10 position, but it's going to be tight.
Well, if anybody could do it, the man that's got the highest I rating in this league at the moment is 6.7K. It's going to be expected of him, you would imagine, because you know how difficult it is to get to a 6.7K.
Oh, and there he goes.
Here's the run from Michael Corello.
Oh, wow, what a move.
Exit of turn 1. Exactly, the exit of the final turn before turn 1. And that's what you said about how crucial that final turn is, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like, if I'm correct, it looks like we're on board with Michael Carrillo right now. You see those tires right there. Spins up the tires, runs a little bit wide, has to save it from the grass. And that is job done from that situation right there. All it takes is just a little spin of those tires. And you're just going to lose so much time.
Believe it or not, Troy is still actually starting to reap in there. Samuel leading this race. So it's been a little bit of a quiet battle, but he's getting closer and closer and closer to the race leader. We thought that Samuel Sproul had so much more pace than he's got the overtake done.
Absolutely. We're on the bumper of Fenelon right now, and it just looks like McLeod is just not quite...
Yeah, I messed that up. Sorry, it's McLeod and then
Oh, it's McLeod. What?
It's McLeod. No, I just said that before. I apologize. You got it right. It's McLeod.
McLeod? I don't know. Aaron said it's McLeod. McLeod? I don't know. That's a weird one.
Yeah, one of my friends who said in Australia has that name, so I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it correctly here.
Oh, he's got a run right here. He is getting close. Getting very, very close. But I just don't know if he's quite got the pace to get it done. 2/10, you really got to be... It's all in the exit. If you don't get a good run, you're just not going to get the slipstream. And without having the ABS and the traction control in these cars, you can't really do a dive bomb. You really just have to wait for the other guy to make a mistake, which is super important. A lot of the overtaking on this track is on the driver ahead. If you can keep it clean and put your car in the right position, you can keep the position.
And you see the sensation of speed as the camera scraping the bitumen and the tarmac here at Brands Hatch for round one. Welcome along to the Porsche Cup Series. And you got more action on the weekend with the Europeans who make their way around the classic track here in the United Kingdom. But now it's the conquering of the Americans and the Americas, and also the Australia driver as well. But apart from that, it is definitely mostly Americas. Here in this field of 37 drivers, unfortunately, there's only about 32 of them currently running in this race, but just to be expected. Look at the track map. They're all spread out at the moment.
And here they come screaming down that pit lane over there, and there they go. McLeod is just not able to get the run. Gets a little bit of a run there. Is he going to go down the inside? Yes. And Fenelon just gives him the room. Calls it a day. Thank you, sir. I have had enough. Crying uncle. And now Fenelon's goal is to just hold on to that P3. He's got 5 minutes left. It's going to be about
I
3.
think he wants it back, my friend.
You think he wants it back?
I think Troy wanted this one because he was happy. He only conceded one place in this race. And that's obviously because Samuel Sproul is so quick, so much more quicker. He's 5 seconds to change up the road. They know that P1's out of grabs right now. If the Aussie driver could bring it across the line. I think at the moment Troy's not going to want to yield this one. He's going to want it back. It's just whether or not he can match that pace from Michael that's been putting so much pressure on him for at least the last 10 minutes and change, maybe 15. 4 minutes and change is actually left in this race right now, so whatever he has to do it fast.
Oh, this gap is increasing, though, and then you can see that McLeod just did not get a good exit there. And we'll see if Fenelon can get a good exit coming down into the corner. Does he get it? It seems like you just want to take that line just a hair bit tighter to get that good exit. Like you see, the slipstream is just not worth much. Maybe half a tenth, if that, coming down that straight.
Gotta open up your DRS cards. Come on. Drag reduction system. Unfortunately, those wings have absolutely none. They're just there for a bit of stabilizing. Also, the air battle at the moment is also brewing the battle for Julian now, because Julian and Aaron Julian has got Charlie and Michael for company just behind there. So we'll see whether or not the blue machine can hold them off for about 3 minutes and change. As you can see, they're really starting to apply the pressure. That's for a crucial P4 position.
I'm wondering if Julian might have made a small mistake. I wonder if there was a small mistake there that had caused him to have an issue there. I'm not...
Yeah, because remember Julian was running in originally P2. Because that's exactly what Troy did. Remember, Troy elected not to overtake him so he could get that pole position. We assume that anyway. And Julian's been holding in quite well. I mean, considering he's only dropped a couple of places. And remember, they were lapping... They're lapping the 126s, and the other guy's lapping 125. So whatever he's doing, he's holding on for dear life. And he only needs to hold on for about 2 minutes and change, which will be about... What are we looking at? 2 laps, maybe
Probably
3 at most.
2, maybe 3 laps. It all depends on the leader who just crossed the line. And then you got Mikey Howanick down in P10, putting the pressure on Anderson right now.
And at the moment, if you're Alexander Reed, you'd be like going, come on, guys, tangle so I can get that P10 position.
Oh, he's got to run. He's got to run. We'll see if he can get down there. He's going to take a wide line to get a good exit. Oh, can he make the move?
It's going to be deep on the outside. Cut across here. Did the switcheroo. As we've switched it. Yeah, there it is right there.
Oh, no, and he's off the
too
track.
deep.
So Howanick tried it and just could not get it done, unfortunately.
Oh, worth it. It was worth risking it for this corner, I'd say. Now he's just going to back off there and accept that P10 position.
Absolutely.
But he gave it everything, didn't he? And that's all what it's about as a race driver. You know, hey, I'm running out of time.
Absolutely. And then we have another overtake here. Dylan Vanderbeek past Adam Moreau right here. Coming down into the corner.
Oh.
And it looks like he just...
steering lock to the right. Look at that,
He
mate.
just...
You have to almost lock up your brakes just to get the job done.
Oh,
And he
my
got it
goodness
done.
gracious. He just held on to that for dear life in order to get that back. And Howanick now behind Anderson. It doesn't look like he's going to get there. Xander Reed 5 seconds off, so it looks like out of the top 10 unless something miraculous happens. And Moreau looks like he's going to try and come back. Let's see if he can get the exit. He is only a 10th off Vanderbeek here.
Yeah, is it a good exit out of the final corner? I think it is.
It definitely
So
seems
now
like
it's gonna
one.
be bold and brave in the turn 1.
Let's see if he goes for it. No,
Try the
he's
undercut
going to
here.
keep it tight
Get the
here.
exit.
Keep it tight. Try and get the exit. I don't think he's going to have the speed to make the move here, though. But he's definitely trying to get close. Carrillo also getting kind of right up in Perrier's bumper also. So a couple of battles going on right now between Moreau and Vanderbeek. Along with Perrier, they are fighting, and Moreau does make the move here. Let's see if he can make this one stick on Anderson.
And Reed's in P10.
Oh, Reed is in P10.
I don't know
Something
what
happened.
There, but Reed's in P10.
Oh,
Yeah,
Carrillo
exactly.
off the track. Rodriguez off the track. Oh, and Carrillo is
There it
crashed. Carrillo's
gone.
crashed.
Yes, exactly.
So we'll
Get an
get...
idea of that one. You might have to show that one real quick because we're getting close to the leader crossing the line, I'd say soon. So, yeah, let's have a look, actually.
Oh, and here we go. And he just overcooks it right there. And Samuel Sproul, checkered flag is waving, and he is going to be coming across that line here soon.
Yep. I think you're currently on the replay screens. We'll get back to the live pictures. And there it is. Yeah, they already crossed the line, so done it.
All
Job
right.
done.
Phenomenal job by Sproul. Oh, and
Oh, that's
he's
just,
doing donuts for Sproul right there with a
That's
wonderful
a
race.
after the race flag, guys. So that's not actually before that. Just to let everybody know they're celebrating.
It looks like they're all having fun there. And what
It's always scary to
a
see those pictures,
race.
aren't you? You think it's a last corner pile-up, but it's not. Of course.
I don't think I've ever seen a reverse donut. Oh, wow. But what a phenomenal race for these guys and a great opening week.
You got to give it to Reed. He ends up finishing in P10. We thought it was like, you were talking about that earlier, weren't you? About, 20 minutes or so into the race going, he's down in, P27 or something like that point. He's like, what's the chances of getting to the top 10? You were saying that if he could get a top 10 here, and, well, he got it. I mean, unfortunately, due to the Costa Rican driver having a little bit of a moment going too deep. But, hey, you got to be in it to win it, and he certainly was. But give it to both Mr. Reed and, obviously, Samuel that has wrapped up this race. So, Samuel doing it for the Blackout sponsorship here, based in Brisbane, Australia. Electrician specializing in motor racing, I'd have to say right now, isn't it?
No, absolutely. So here we go with the overall results for the feature race. We have Sam Sproul, the privateer, winning the race ahead of Michael McLeod for Back of the Pack Racing. Troy Fenelon holds on from P1 to keep that podium with much faster drivers behind. Ariel Julian working his way quite a ways back, fighting with Charlie Poirier towards the end. Adam Moreau, Tyler Anderson, bringing up 6th and 7th. Mikey Howanick and Michael Carrillo, 8th and 9th. And Xander Reed starting 8th, going all the way back down to 29th position at one point, getting all the way back up to P10. Dylan Vanderbeck, Adam Schmidt, Dan Moreno round out P11, 12, and 13. Carl Ribbing, Sean Mulholland, Rob Rodriguez, Colby Warren, and Charles Edward slowly rounding out the rest of the field down there. If we move on to the rest of the... Oh, hey.
Yeah, you got it.
There we go. Move on down to the rest of the field. You got Mark Darnell, Mark Lampert. A couple of Marks there fighting for position to stay on the lead laps. And then lapped cars. Benjamin Harrison, 22. Matt Wyckoff in 23. Jeffrey Seabach in 24th. And Drew Stanley, P25. From P26 down to P37, you have Michael Blaze, Jeremy Littleton, Jean Rivera, Alexander Wilford, Shannon Matherall, Bryce Rodriguez, Jonathan Doikenschauer, that word. Chris Gingaro, Rafa Casacerta, Hayden Bush, Jeff Rosen, and Joseph Essinger. 37 cars on the grid today. A wonderful showing from the Pro and Am class. As keep an eye out for the Pro and Am results. As we said earlier, we'll get that sorted out next time so we can have live showing of who is doing what and where.
Absolutely. We might take a short little breather, short little pause, and see if we can get some of these gladiators in for a quick chat. And then we'll be back to wrap up the first race of the season here in Brands Hatch in England, in the United Kingdom, as your, rest in peace, Your Majesty would say, Queen Elizabeth. But Porsche Cup America's round 1 is done and dusted. And don't go anywhere. We'll see if we get some reviews. We'll be back in just a minute. We're going to get ready to go live again.
Live now.
Sorry?
Live now.
We're live at the moment. We have interviews, and of course, we have Michael now. Michael, there's a bit of confusion out there. How do we pronounce your surname?
My last name, McLeod.
McLeod. So that is. I thought it was McLeod at the start. Sorry, Will. I think you got that one wrong.
I've heard all the different versions. McLeod, McLeod, I don't even know. But yeah, McLeod sounds about right. That's what my parents told me anyways.
Well, trusting the parents, my friend. We can get GG's on that feature race there. You got 3 positions gained there for the back of the pack racing team. How was that for you?
That was good. Oh, I guess I have to change that to the KY Jellyfish. As you could see, I have the same paint scheme livery as Charlie Pooyer. So we're on a team, and we've named ourselves KY Jellyfish. As you could see, the pink car we had, and yeah, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I was surprised at the amount of cars, but it was also a pleasant surprise. And yeah, I just hope everyone had a great time, front to back.
We did, didn't we? Well, just to let everybody know, what did you finish up originally in the sprint race?
That was 4th, and then finished 2nd in the race. And I was catching Samuel Spruill at the end there. I couldn't get past Troy quick enough to bridge that gap to Sam. And so the race timed out, and away he went. And congratulations to Sam. He drove a great race.
Yeah, he did. It took him a little bit actually to get past Troy. That was started on pole position with Julian behind him, and then he eventually disposed of. Well, disposed is not a very nice way, but dispatched of some of those drivers. And yeah, it got your way up there. Sorry, apologies about that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Samuel, of course. Well, mate, they're blackout. I mean, they got the best electricians that you could find on Southeast Queensland. Australia. So they've tuned in that car. He did a fantastic. See if we can obviously get Samuel in for a chat. What happened? How did you feel about that first sprint race? I mean, we knew that there was absolute sheer pace there from Xander Reed, right? And
Oh,
did you,
definitely.
did you see that incident that occurred?
Oh, I was almost half involved in that. I went left and took the grass, and he was directly behind me. And I think that maybe my car was blocking his view, something. He just didn't have anywhere to go, and it just boom.
And boom, just like that, it happens. Overall, I mean, there was a lot of incidents. There was a lot of incidents. Will was very, very busy on the cameras trying to capture all that action, probably more so in the sprint race, believe it or not, than the feature. Overall, you'd have to say, I mean, there was probably about 32 drivers or so that finished the race out of 37. That's not too bad considering a small track like Brands Hatch. How did you
Yeah.
find this overall first round?
Definitely a very much of a challenge for me, for everyone. I was very scared actually when I qualified and when I hit the grid. I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a tight track with this many cars. What is going to happen? And yeah, I sort of half expected a lot of incidents as well, just from people's mistakes. And I was hoping that more incidents would happen in front of me. Qualified far enough up that I guess the people in front of me didn't do that.
Well, you're going to be
Other-
looking very good in the championship overall there. Will, any of your questions, of course, there for Michael McLeod, now that we got that one confirmed?
No, sir, you are the interviewer.
Oh, I'm the interviewer. Michael, would you like to say a few words? Of course, you know, in one of the administrators, if not, yeah, definitely one of the high up in administrators here for the
Tongue-tied.
Porsche Cup Series. Yes. And any shout outs, anything you want to allow everybody that's tuning in at the moment here for the first race of the season?
Honestly, just shout out to absolutely everyone on my admin and leadership team that I've got that helps run this league with me. Thank you for all of your help. Thank you for everyone who's in the league that just makes it such a great atmosphere for all of us in this Discord, in the race. You know, there's always good times, there's bad times, but overall, it's really great. And just thank you to everyone that makes that happen. And great race. Shout out to Samuel Spruill and Troy Fenelon. Huge surprise. Shout out to Troy for just that brick wall he threw up for so many laps on end.
Absolutely fantastic. And that there you are, of course, Samuel, yourself there, and Troy that finished in the top three here for the sprint. Sorry, for the feature race. Of course, don't forget the European version of this is coming up on the weekend. Would you like to explain that one there, Michael?
It's just we've got the 2 time slots. This one is for the North and South America primarily, obviously because it's evening and the European people are all sleeping and so on. The European Global Race on Sunday is a time slot where all of North America, if they wish to join, can join into the race, and all the European people, it's the evening time for them. And so it's actually the higher skill level, and it's going to be really, really intense. We get anywhere from a lot of drivers, anywhere from 4,000 to 8,000 I rating.
Wow. Okay. I thought 6.7K from Xander Reed was quite high. But I'll be looking forward to that one, of course. So stay tuned. It'll also be broadcasted here on JB Broadcasting YouTube channel. So thank you very much there, Michael McLeod there. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. I'm sure we'll be chatting to you much, much more during the season. And of course, Will, any last words, mate, before we wrap it up? Let everybody have a lay down.
Oh, it's a wonderful race, wonderful showing for the first time, and I guess we'll see what everyone can do on a track where it's a little bit easier to maybe a little bit more forgiving.
Exactly. So hit the bell, subscribe, and like, of course, and then you'll all be able to catch up the future action. Of course, you'll all be able to watch it back as drivers. That's you know, it's nothing better than watching back for the rest of the races that go on. You're well aware of your own race, but you want to see how everybody else is panning out, and guarantee you'll see how the other 37 cars did pan out during this race. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a great night, evening, wherever you are in the world, and stay tuned for more of the fantastic Porsche Cup Americas series. Good night.